Speaking of liars, let's finish up with the infallible Fauci. So he now wants children over 2 years old to mask up or take the vaccine. No children are dying because of this thing. It is extraordinarily rare. Adults even, it's about 97.5 to 99% that you will survive if you get COVID. You all know the stuff about the comorbidities and being overweight and diabetes and everything else, on top of the fact that now many of us have had COVID and have natural antibodies, and a huge amount of people have now been vaccinated, and we're supposed to believe that the vaccines work, although now they're telling us people are gonna have to get booster shots every year and everything else. Well, now Fauci wants kids. I mean, really think before you watch this video. Whatever little child you know in your life, I just spent some time with my sister and her great kids. She's got a 6-year-old and a 2-year-old. This 2-year-old boy, like, this is not a kid who should be wearing a mask. This is a kid who should be running free and playing with blocks and destroying stuff and going crazy and running around his house in a scooter, which Mom wasn't thrilled about, but you know, what are you gonna do? Anyway, here's Lord Fauci.
You know that children under the age of 12 who are not eligible for the vaccines generally do not get sick, don't get COVID, or don't get as ill with it. But what does this spread of the Delta variant mean for them, for the children under the age of 12? And what's the timeline for when they might become eligible?
Well, a couple of questions, and the answers are the children who are not able to get vaccinated because of their age should follow, their parents should follow with them, the guidelines of the CDC. That unvaccinated children of a certain age, greater than 2 years old, should be wearing masks. No doubt about that. That's the way to protect them from getting infected, because if they do, they can then spread the infection to someone else. So the CDC guidelines for unvaccinated people, including children, are not changed at all. We are currently doing, we being the federal government together in collaboration with the pharmaceutical companies, age de-escalation studies, namely looking at the safety and the immunogenicity of vaccines in children from 12 to 9 years old, then from 9 to 6, then from 6 to 2 years old, and then ultimately from 6 months to 2 years old.
Dystopia, man. We live in a modern dystopia. That really is the truth. Okay, so a couple things here. First off, Andrea Mitchell, that's MSNBC, by the way. Andrea Mitchell, she says something interesting at the beginning. She basically says kids don't get sick, and then in the next breath, she goes, when can the kids get vaccinated? She links that then to the Delta variant. She doesn't give you any data on the Delta variant, right? Nothing, and this is what they do with everything. They don't give you any data points. They just say things. So she goes, kids don't get sick. When can they all get vaccinated because of Delta? And it's like, well, is something going on with Delta that we need to know? Is it killing a lot of kids? Then they're saying if they get, this is what Fauci's saying. He's saying if they get infected, meaning the kids, they can spread it. Now, that's probably true, right? Like, it is possible that kids can get COVID. Actually, my 6-year-old niece and my 2-year-old nephew, who I just mentioned, they had COVID. They did the quarantine, the whole thing. They were sick for a few days, and then everything was okay. My sister got it when they got it, and actually my brother-in-law, who lived in a very small house with them, did not get it. These are all just things. Like, I'm just putting out a little bit of personal stuff right there. But the point is, okay, let's say a 2-year-old got it. It might give it to another 2-year-old and another 2-year-old, another 2-year-old. But is there any evidence that those kids are going to die? Is there any evidence they're going to have long-term effects or anything else? Notice they don't tell you any of those things. So his answer is, let's do these studies to inject 2-year-olds with this stuff. And in the meantime, follow the CDC guidelines that have been completely all over the map and often contradictory and everything else, or put your kids in masks. So 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds and everything else should be in masks. You know, I was in Universal Studios. We took my niece and nephew to Universal Studios about a week and a half ago here in Los Angeles. And I would say half the kids there were in masks. So you got kids walking into Harry Potter land, kids on outdoor roller coasters, kids that should be laughing and smiling and running around. And it's LA in the summer. It was like 95 degrees. Everyone's dripping with sweat. You've got adults who I guess have been vaccinated, not in masks, and you got kids who are dressed up as Harry Potter or Hermione, whatever her name is, and whoever. And those are heavy costumes that they're wearing, dressed up as wizards. Hermione Granger, thank you. I'm a Star Wars guy. I'm more of a robot guy than the wizards. It's a little, the wizards, whatever. Oh, you got a little stick and you can fly on a broom, zippity-doo-dah. It's like, give me a lightsaber. All right, but the point is, they're ruining children. They're ruining children. Fauci is just ridiculous. I can't believe that Biden's my president and Fauci is my chief medical officer. Like, what is going on here? What is going on here?